The crazy close to bees video. Look at this. What's going on? So what they're doing is they're trying to rub the honey out of these, which I'm sure they're doing a pretty good job. I've already extracted these, so they're not full of honey, but they do have honey residual on them. You know, it's like 10 boxes. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Is that right? Yeah, 9 boxes. 9 plus the one that's sitting on top of it didn't actually have honey in it. But yep, it's a lot of honey. Filled that guy all the way up. I mean, that thing was packed all the way to the top, full of honey. Let's go see what's going on over here. Got this little bitty hive in my backyard. Trying to get it to where I can bring it out in the field. Backyard's a mess, I know it. I'm trying to separate the yard to where I got my work side and then I got my not work side. There's all kinds of bees. There's probably a bunch of dead bees down in here. Let's see. Oof. That thing melted. It's alright, it was broken anyway. It's not in the best of shape. It's busted. That's why I put it in there. Let's see. This solar melter does not work great. It likes to, of course, I mean, I made it, so it's not like I bought it. I don't have anyone to blame but myself. Oh, there we go. Oh, wow. I'd say they're doing pretty good. I would say they're doing quite well, considering they were in a little mating nook last week. But then again, I did bolster them up. I did give them some extra stuff extra bees and extra this and extra that, so that way they would do better. And they sure are. Hope the queen's laying like that. If the queen's laying like that, then we're doing pretty good. Yes, I know. Backyard's a mess. This right here, man, when we moved in here, it was nothing but dirt. This is my fire pit. I gotta start it up. Little dove hanging on the wall. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this bee season being over. But it's been quite a ride this year. We're in August of 2019, and this has been a really good year. So I've got extracted honey over there, extracted boxes over there, and here we have just some stuff that was, yeah, see, just some wax and honey that was all left together, along with some water. And then I think there was one more spot. Oh yeah, we already saw that. So bees are cleaning up my mess. That's why I leave this stuff out. Not that I'm worried about it. They clean it all up for me. Yep. So anyway, it's a look. Oh, they are really doing it to it. So one thing that people don't realize is that bees, for the most part, are not going to really mess with you too much. They let's see if I can. They have a tendency to leave you alone if you don't squash them and you're not invading their hive. So for me to stand right next to all those bees is no big deal. Well, that, and I'm not afraid of them. That's another thing I think there's some kind of chemical or something that is given off whenever you're afraid, which attracts them to you. And also, I think that just being calm, no real fast movements, don't squash them, and they really won't mess with you too much. Now, yes, there are aggressive bees. There are Africanized bees. I have yet to see them. I've been a beekeeper for a few years now. Right now I'm growing. I've got about 85 hives, so I'm not big yet. Hopefully in a few years I'll be able to quit my job and do this full time. I get up to about 400 hives. That's my plan. If anybody's interested in how that works, maybe, I don't know, maybe one day I'll get that information out there. Because that's something that I think people want to know. Is there a bee back there? No? See, sometimes when you feel something crawling on you, especially for me, if it's a bee, I don't want to squish them, because then they'll sting me. So this is my little shed. This is where I do most of my building. Most of my at-home beekeeping stuff is done here. I've got my extractor back here. It's a 12 super and 12 super and 6 deep. So I guess it'd be medium and deep frame. Now I can fit in there. If I wanted to, I could put deeps and mediums in there at the same time and do 12 at a time. I didn't know that until I started using it. I just got it, which is super nice. It's variable speed. I turn it on. I do need to take a look at it. It kind of moves around quite a bit, but I think it's just, it's old, so that's what happens when things get old. They don't work as well as they used to. So I think what I'll do is I'll take it apart and just see what I can do to help it along. Get it working a little better, not shaking so much. So I've got a little bit of last year's honey. I got a little comb honey, mountain honey, valley honey. Not too much. Only a few dozen jars. But I do have a few. I've got 4 3-pounder avocado honeys left. And then I just made about 40 gallons of about 30 gallons of mountain honey. And that stuff tastes really good. It tastes like there's berries in it. Maybe like it's infused with berry. It's probably there. I don't remember seeing any like blackberry bushes or anything in the area, but that's kind of what it tastes like. It tastes like there's like a blackberry nectar or something like that around there. man, it is really good. I use inside feeders, 1.5 gallon inside feeders. Matter of fact, here's one. Now I see a lot of beekeepers. They have these inside feeders, but they don't have the insert, the wooden insert, and the ladders. These ladders are here. I've got one. The ladders are super important for me, anyway. I mean, some people I'm sure have a different opinion, you know, which is fine. But these little ladders, they're just little screen cones that go down into the feeder. And I think, I mean, you have to get them in bulk. I think we paid $7 a piece for them, $7.50 I think, maybe, from Man Lake, and they work really well. And the reason I like them is I used to do jars, 1/2 gallon jars, which is good. You got to pull the, you got to get the lid off, and man, that lid a lot of times is just difficult to get off, and you're hitting it with your hive tool. And every now and again you'll crack a jar, or and it's just a pain in the neck. And then you can put Vaseline or something on there, but then you run the risk of getting some of that stuff in your syrup, or maybe, I mean, it's not really that big a deal, but you know, there's different things you can do to make it a little easier. But I just, it's more of a pain in the neck. But with those hive feeders, I slide the lid over just a little bit so that the hive is still covered, right? So that means I can do it in most conditions. I fill it, either I have a funnel that I use if I'm going to use my 2.5 gallon containers, or I'm going to make with that guy up there that I got from Harbor Freight, and those guys up there, which are 50-foot hoses. I'm going to make a pump deal, a pump assembly with a tote, a 270 gallon, or what was it? I think it's 235 or 275 gallon tote, right? Maybe 300 gallon tote. And I've got a few of those, and I'm going to use it to mix. So I'm going to fill it with water, turn it on, and use that to mix. Or I can use my 55 gallon drum mixer and just, you know, use that to mix and then pump and then mix and then pump. It just depends on how things work out. I don't know. There's always different ways of doing things. And then, I don't know, I'm looking forward to seeing how this thing works out, because I want to use that, because I'm going to make a little setup to where I can go up to my hives, because a buddy of mine, Jose, he showed me with a different type of pump and a different setup, a lot heavier duty. Of course, he's got, you know, a lot more hives than I do. And he's got it set up to where he can just go. I swear, I think it took 15 minutes, 20 minutes to feed 100 hives. And it was like boom, 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 boom. I mean, it was like fill. He had a little hand valve on the end of the hose, and he opened the valve, pump up the hive feeder, which is 1.5 gallons, which lasts you a couple of weeks. If they're needing syrup, if they're needing it, that'll last a couple of weeks. You just open the valve, fill it up, close the valve, go to the next one. Super fast, super easy, you know, and wasn't backbreaking. I know my brother, he uses a 5 gallon plastic like bottles. So it's, I mean, they're so heavy. I mean, you're talking 50 pounds of syrup whenever that thing's all the way full. And it's just backbreaking work if you do it like that. And then you got to hold a funnel too. That's just, it's not cool. It's not good. So I'm gonna rig this thing up so me and my brother have something to use. I'm hoping to get that thing going pretty good. And yeah, I just think it ought to work pretty good. Look forward to using it anyway. Anyway, so I use that to fill the. Oh, now I'm thinking about something. Use that to fill the feeders. Super easy, super fast, I think. Just will take no time at all. I'll put a bypass on the tank, so around the pump, so that it comes out, and if I got the valve closed, it just kind of circulates. I've opened the valve and it just shoots right out. I think it'll work out pretty good. So behind me I've got 1 pint jars, which are about 1.5 pounds. And this is that mountain honey I was just telling you about. It tastes like berries. Super dark. Look at that. This is a beautiful jar of honey, you know. And it tastes good. I mean, that's just good tasting honey. It's pretty thick, you know. Has a good good water content, or moisture content. It's just really good stuff. I got the stuff from last year. This stuff is all crystallized practically, even though it's, I don't know, it's feeling pretty good now. That's last year's honey. It's been sitting in this warm shed, that's why. It was all crystallized when I pulled it out here. Let's see. That stuff is still... The comb honey is still, this stuff is still kind of thick, not too bad though. Alright guys, well that's all I got. Hope you liked the video. If you do, great. If you don't, sorry. I'm not the best at doing this. Brand new. So anyway, alright guys, have a great day and God bless. Alright, bye.